So I went undrafted out of college. I had a good year in college. I felt that I was ready to take that next step to become a pro. And going into the draft, I had a decent pre-draft process, but anyways, ended up getting undrafted and then ended up with the Brooklyn Nets. At first, it was just an Exhibit 10 contract, and I would be competing for a roster spot, a two-way, and going through the preseason process, just having to day in and day out show why I belong. It was a tough situation to be in, because for me, I had all the confidence in the world in myself that I was ready, but I still had to go out and prove it. And seeing guys drafted and things like that had definitely put a chip on my shoulder. So going into that preseason, I took that personally and made it a point that I was going to go in and get a contract. And that's what I did. Ended up getting my first NBA contract, and that was such a blessing for me, such a blessing. Knowing how hard it is to make it there, and be a part of that 1% was something that I really wanted to do, but I knew that I could do it. And that first year was really good. Things kind of I went from fighting for a spot to starting literally within 2 months. I ended up starting my first game December 14th. I just know it was a home game versus the Toronto Raptors, and got the start. It was a lot of guys were down due to COVID and stuff like that, but the opportunity presented itself for me to start, and I went out, got my first double-double as well. 10 points, 13 rebounds, and yeah, we won the game. It was an overtime game against a fully healthy Toronto Raptors team, really good team, and that was just like the start. It was crazy, because that was probably, till this day, probably the most fun game that I've been a part of. The starting lineup, I believe, was myself, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, Nick Claxton, and Kessler Edwards, I believe. And if you see in some interviews today, Katie, he still talks about that game and how fun it was, playing with us, all the young guys and him. And yeah, it really was, probably one of the most fun games that I had ever been a part of. And for those next few games, I continued to start. I had played well. The next game, I followed it up with a 18-point game. I think that was another double-double, actually. And it just was a continual thing for me. And then unfortunately, I got COVID and I had to sit out, and I missed the Christmas Day game that we were playing against the Lakers. And from there, coming back, I ended up playing again, starting some games, and I didn't finish out the year starting. I ended up, being moved back to the bench, and which was fine. I understand guys come back healthy and, are trying to get back into their rhythm. Overall, that year was really good for me. Ended up ending the year, James Harden had got traded to Philadelphia 76ers. We brought in Ben Simmons. Going into that summer, I really wanted to make it a point to develop my game, and that was probably one of the hardest summers of my life. I had all the young guys staying in Brooklyn, and we just trained all day. Steve Nash was the coach at the time. He was running the whole summer program for us, and it was really good. Honestly, it was really good for us. I feel like that was the summer I probably developed the most up until that point. It was just good to be in the gym with all those guys competing on an everyday basis. You get more attention from the head coach, from Steve, who's a super cerebral, super smart basketball player. Obviously, Hall of Famer, legend in the game. And to be able to have conversations with him, and him to be able to pick my game apart and, show me things that I could work on, things that he used for himself, was really good for me. I came back that second year definitely much better. That second summer league that I played in was probably my best summer league. Played extremely well. Going into that next year, I was super confident. Started the year off, I got some playing time again. Regardless of the fact I was still on a two-way contract, so I had obligations to the Brooklyn Nets as well as the Long Island Nets G League team. So I still had to go back and forth no matter how good I was playing. And it could be easy for players in that situation to be like, man, I'm doing so well, I'm doing everything they asked me to, and I'm still being sent to the G League. I'm still not getting an opportunity at the NBA level. And for me, I looked at the G League as a perfect opportunity to show why I belong, in the NBA. And I thought it was something that could be very useful for me. And that year, I actually finished first team All G League. I was second runner-up in the MVP voting. Our team was #1 team. We had like a 16 or 17 game win streak that season, and we were just really on fire. We didn't end up winning the championship in the G League that year. We fell short in the semis, but it was a year that I was really proud of coming away from. Regardless, after that year, I was really confident going into the summer. I was like, man, I feel like I've done a whole lot for this organization. I feel like, they've seen the growth and development in me. And, I love Brooklyn. Even till this day, I still love the organization. But I was hoping that, I would get a standard contract that next year. I had ended up getting converted to a standard contract, but just to end the year. So going into the summer, I was a free agent again. Unfortunately, they went a different direction that summer, and I was a free agent. Ended up signing with the Philadelphia 76ers for training camp. In that time, those couple months, I got to be around James Harden again. So that was cool to have that continuation with him. But then, obviously, the 76ers having Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, other guys who are all league talents. And that was really cool to be around them as well, but I didn't end up making that team, so I went to Delaware with the G League team for the Sixers to play. Another time where I felt super confident in the things that I was doing, just didn't have the opportunity. So, I have faith in myself, in God. I believe that all things kind of work out the way that it should. So for me, I was like, I'm not gonna stress about when the opportunity comes. I know it's gonna come. I just need to be prepared. So that, time with them every single day, just with the same approach. Literally within a month and a half, 2 months, San Antonio came calling. My agent offering me another NBA contract, another two-way. So I pack up and head down to San Antonio. And that's my first, time in Texas, playing in Texas, which was a big change, but in a good way. I always traveled for basketball and stuff, been everywhere, but living that far away from home as well was really different. New York was 3-hour drive away, so it really wasn't that far, but Texas was definitely further. And my time there, man, I love the Spurs organization. Like, I love the Spurs organization to this day. From, the head, R.C. Buford, B. Wright, Pop, to Nico, the equipment manager, all those guys. I feel like they took such good care of me. My time with San Antonio, with Austin Spurs, like, it was just a time where I feel like I connected a lot with the people in the organization. I was playing well, and I really, really grew just as a person as well. Connecting with not just the team, but like the city of San Antonio was really cool to build some friendships and relationships out there. And my time there, like, I feel like I was really, really on track to getting, what I've been working for, which was like that full-time standard contract. And after my first year with them, I ended the year, I think I had like a great game, like 15-point game, those last couple games. And, I could see that Pop was really starting to like trust me on the court. But going into that summer, I really continued that trajectory I was on, was playing well in the summer, training sessions and things like that. But by the end of that summer, I got hurt, and I hurt my back. I was playing in the summer workouts, and I went for a layup, contested, and I ended up falling. Fell right on the disc where the bulging disc was, and immediately, like, a sharp, agonizing pain like went down my leg. At the time, because I had such a good summer and was playing well, I didn't want to sit out. I was like, man, this is the time that I'm gonna get this contract. I'm right there, I can do it. And as I'm like cooling down after my workout, like my body's cooling down, my muscles are getting stiff, the pain just gets more and more and more and more, to the point where, like, before, like by the time I leave the facility, I can't even feel my toes. Like my toes went numb on the left side. So that's when I knew it was probably pretty serious. By the time I was fully healthy, it was the new year, January, February time, and I was just super grateful to be back playing. So I finished out that year really good as well. My G League team ended up, we were the #1 team again, went to the playoffs, but unfortunately the same way, lost in the semis, which was unfortunate. After that, I went into the summer a free agent and not really knowing what the next step for me would be, but knowing that I would prepare myself. I ended up getting a call from my agent saying Phoenix Suns would like to have me in training camp. So for me going into there, it was the same thing, having to prove myself again. It was like starting over from square one in a way, new organization, going in there just with the same mindset, trying to prove myself. It was a good time being over there. I feel like, obviously I would have loved more opportunity, but sometimes that's just how it happens, I'm grateful for my time there. And then from there, after that, not making the team after preseason, had to make a decision, and that's when Perth Wildcats came along. So my agent actually had mentioned them in the summertime when I was deciding on where I would be ending up next. But at that time, I was, really trying to assess and see where in the NBA that I could stay and fit, or that I would get an opportunity. With the NBA, it's so hard because there's so many guys that want to be there, so many guys looking for situations and opportunities. But I wanted to, try one more time at this point in my life. For me, I had been in the G League and played for a few years at that point, and I felt like I was pretty successful in what I was doing there. But honestly, I wanted a new situation, a new challenge that would ultimately help me grow and develop as a player and person. I wanted to be somewhere where we're playing very good basketball, but it would allow me to showcase my skill set in a way as well. So knowing about the NBL and hearing about it, I think it just was almost like the perfect situation for me to come to, especially at this point in my career and life. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that, they did come calling, that the opportunity was there, because I've been enjoying it. And I feel like it's really, been what I've needed at this point in my career.